All right, my people. So we're about to have a watch party and a trade party here. We're about to watch Donald Trump and listen to Donald Trump's speech in the World Economic Forum in Davos. And let me just post this link in the community, in the Telegram community. If you ain't in it, make sure you join it. Link is in the description box below. Let's get into this. The speech is supposed to start 5 o'clock Central European time, and that is now, actually 1 minute past. So we are holding on and waiting. Should start any minute. And what we are waiting for right now is for him, for Donald Trump, to announce the strategic Bitcoin reserve and talk about his plans for United States as a metropole, as a capital of crypto, as he said that he wants to do it. And that will send Bitcoin through the roof, through the moon. So this is what we're looking for now, and this is what we want to hear now, and this is what we will listen for, and we might take some trades live on it. We will watch the charts in the same time. And we have a Q&A in the same time, so if anything, type it in the chat box. I will answer. And guys, please support this channel. Give me some likes. Throw in some likes, some comments. If you don't subscribe yet, subscribe. We're waiting for Donald Trump to start talking very soon, any minute now. He will not be at Davos. He's not at Davos speaking, so he will talk through a link. I am almost completely sure that he will say something about crypto. Positive, negative, we don't know, but I believe it's positive. Like, why should he say something negative if all the positive things he has said, announcing himself as the Bitcoin, or as the crypto president of the world, basically? This should hit hard. It should hit very hard. Let me know if the sound is good now when I'm talking, and then later on when he starts to talk, let me know if the sound is good there as well. If he doesn't talk about crypto, yeah, man, we'll see. We will see. That is all I can say. Market will probably react similarly to his inauguration speech when he got sworn in as the president of America, and that basic market started to dump. I think that this whole retrace that we had today is expectations for the Japanese fund rate decision tomorrow. It's super important. We will talk more about that, but now we will focus on Trump, and then we'll talk about this, because this can affect the market heavily, very heavily. It did so last time. It dumped the market with 35%. And I think this is kind of bad expectations for that, because they announced that they will actually increase the interest rate, which is very bad for the economy, and especially for crypto, for risk assets like crypto. I will explain everything afterwards, why it's bad, what it means, and what we can expect, and so on. Exactly, Liriron. Here's the thing, like, everybody's just sitting and waiting. If he just says crypto, Bitcoin, boom, I think like you will see nice candles on the chart. You guys don't see the full chart, right? 1 sec.
Mr. President. Hello.
Here we go. All right. Let me know if you can hear it good.
What great honor and pleasure to welcome you back to the Davos community. Just 4 days into your new mandate, we highly appreciate your presence with us today. We wish you all the best as
Does it sound good?
your critical work ahead.
1 second.
The global challenges we face today are monumental. The importance of American leadership and your personal leadership in this regard is fundamental and paramount. We are here to hear your
Let me
vision,
increase the volume here.
policies related to revitalizing the economy,
I cannot stand this dude
addressing the global
talking.
challenges.
Charles Schwab's.
As you might expect, Mr. President, your return to office and your forthcoming policies have been at the focus of our discussions this week. The discussions among 3,000 political and business leaders from over 130 countries who came together here in Davos. We look forward hearing first from you and then to the follow-up discussion with business leaders moderated by my colleague Børge Brende. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much, Klaus, and hello to everyone in beautiful Davos. This has been a truly historic week in the United States. 3 days ago, I took the oath of office and we began the golden age of America. The recent presidential election was won by millions of votes, and all 7, every one of them, all 7 swing states. It was a massive mandate from the American people like hasn't been seen in many years, and some of the political pundits, even some of my so-called enemies, said it was the most consequential election victory in 129 years. That's quite nice. What the world has witnessed in the past 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense. Our country will soon be stronger, wealthier, and more united than ever before, and the entire planet will be more peaceful and prosperous as a result of this incredible momentum and what we're doing and going to do. My administration is acting with unprecedented speed to fix the disasters we've inherited from a totally inept group of people and to solve every single crisis facing our country. This begins with confronting the economic chaos caused by the failed policies of the last administration. Over the past 4 years, our government racked up $8 trillion in wasteful deficit spending and inflicted nation-wrecking energy restrictions, crippling regulations, and hidden taxes like never before. The result is the worst inflation crisis in modern history and sky-high interest rates for our citizens and even throughout the world. Food prices and the price of almost every other thing known to mankind went through the roof. President Biden totally lost control of what was going on in our country, but in particular with our high inflation economy and at our border. Because of these ruinous policies, total government spending this year is $1.5 trillion higher than was projected to occur when I left office just 4 years ago. Likewise, the cost of servicing the debt is more than 230% higher than was projected in 2020. The inflation rate we are inheriting remains 50% higher than the historic target. It was the highest inflation probably in the history of our country. That's why from the moment I took office, I've taken rapid action to reverse each and every one of these radical left policies that created this calamity, in particular with immigration, crime, and inflation. On day one, I signed an executive order directing every member of my cabinet to marshal all powers at their disposal to defeat inflation and reduce the cost of daily life. I imposed a federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, a foreign aid freeze, and I created the new Department of Government Efficiency. I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New Deal. I call it the Green New Scam. Withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord and ended the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate. We're going to let people buy the car they want to buy. I declared a national energy emergency, and that's so important, national energy emergency to unlock the liquid gold under our feet and pave the way for rapid approvals of new energy infrastructure. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it. Not only will this reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services, it will make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. My administration has also begun the largest deregulation campaign in history, far exceeding even the record-setting efforts of my last term. In total, the Biden administration imposed $50,000 in additional regulatory costs on the average American household over the last 4 years. I have promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every new regulation, which will soon put many thousands of dollars back in the pockets of American families. To further unleash our economy, our majorities in the House and Senate, which we also took along with the presidency, are going to pass the largest tax cut in American history, including massive tax cuts for workers and families, and big tax cuts for domestic producers and manufacturers. And we're working with the Democrats on getting an extension of the original Trump tax cuts, as you probably know, by just reading any paper. My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt. Under the Trump administration, there will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA. Already Americans' economic, you can see this, I think, maybe even in your wonderful, wonderful room that you're all gathered together, so many of my friends, but Americans, the economic confidence is soaring like we haven't seen in many, many decades, maybe not at all. Upon my election, it was just announced that small business optimism skyrocketed by 41 points in a single month. That's the highest ever. There's never been anything like that. SoftBank has announced between a $100 and $200 billion investment in the U.S. economy because of the election result. And just 2 days ago, Oracle, SoftBank, and OpenAI announced a $500 billion investment in AI infrastructure. Other companies likewise have announced billions and billions and billions, adding up to trillions of investment in America, in the United States. And it's also reported today in the papers that Saudi Arabia will be investing at least $600 billion in America, but I'll be asking the Crown Prince, who's a fantastic guy, to round it out to around $1 trillion. I think they'll do that because we've been very good to them. And I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil. You got to bring it down, which frankly, I'm surprised they didn't do before the election. That didn't show a lot of love by them not doing it. I was a little surprised by that. If the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war would end immediately. Right now, the price is high enough that that war will continue. You got to bring down the oil price. You got to end that war. They should have done it long ago. They're very responsible, actually, to a certain extent, for what's taking place. Millions of lives are being lost. With oil prices going down, I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately, and likewise, they should be dropping all over the world. Interest rates should follow us. All over, the progress that you're seeing is happening because of our historic victory in a recent presidential election, one that has become quite well known throughout the world. I think a lot of things are happening to a lot of countries. They say that there's light shining all over the world since the election, and even countries that we aren't particularly friendly with are happy because they understand what there is a future and how great the future will be. Under our leadership, America is back and open for business. And this week, I'm also taking swift action to stop the invasion at our southern border. They allowed people to come in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It was ridiculous. I decided and declared to do, and very, very importantly, a national emergency on our border, immediately halted all entry of illegal border crossers, of which there were many, and began promptly returning the illegal trespassers back to the place from which they came. That action, as you've probably seen, has already started very strongly. I've deployed active duty U.S. military and National Guard troops to the border to assist in repelling the invasion. It was really an invasion. We will not allow our territory to be violated. After 4 long years, the United States is strong and sovereign and a beautiful nation once again. It's a strong, sovereign nation. In addition, I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly. With another historic executive order this week, I also ended the weaponization of law enforcement against the American people and, frankly, against politicians, and restored the fair, equal, and impartial rule of law. My administration has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense, and these are policies that were absolute nonsense throughout the government and the private sector. With the recent yet somewhat unexpected great Supreme Court decision just made, America will once again become a merit-based country. You have to hear that word, merit-based country. And I've made it official, an official policy of the United States, that there are only 2 genders, male and female. And we will have no men participating in women's sports, and transgender operations, which became the rage, will occur very rarely. Finally, as we restore common sense in America, we're moving quickly to bring back strength and peace and stability abroad. I'm also going to ask all NATO nations to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP, which is what it should have been years ago. It was only at 2%, and most nations didn't pay until I came along. I insisted that they pay, and they did, because the United States was really paying the difference at that time, and it was unfair to the United States. But many, many things have been unfair for many years to the United States. Before even taking office, my team negotiated a ceasefire agreement in the Middle East, which wouldn't have happened without us, as I think most of the people in the room know. Earlier this week, the hostages began to return to their families. They are returning, and it's a beautiful sight, and they'll be coming in more and more. They started coming back on Sunday. Our efforts to secure a peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine are now hopefully underway. It's so important to get that done. That is an absolute killing field. Millions of soldiers are being killed. Nobody's seen anything like it since World War II. They're laying dead all over the flat fields. It's a flat field farmland, and there's millions of Russians and millions of Ukrainians. Nobody's seen anything like it since World War II. It's time to end it. And here in America, we have big events coming up. Next year, we have the 250th anniversary of America's founding. I'm so honored to be president during that. That's been a big event. They've been talking about it for 10 years. We also have the World Cup And I understand Gianni's in the room. Infantino, he was very instrumental in helping us get it. He's there with you someplace, I think. And I want to thank him for that. And then we have the Olympics coming up, which I was instrumental in getting also in my first term. And who would have known that by skipping a term, I would get the Olympics? I was upset. I said, you know, I got the Olympics to come and I won't be president. But it turned out through a stroke of luck, or whatever you might call it, that I'm going to be president during the World Cup and the Olympics and the 250th anniversary. So that's going to be 3 big events. And we've accomplished more in less than 4 days. We have really been working 4 days than other administrations have accomplished in 4 years. And we're just getting started. It's really an amazing thing to see, and the spirit and the light over our country has been incredible. Under the last administration, our nation has suffered greatly, but we're going to bring it back and make it greater, bigger, stronger, better than ever before. I want to thank everybody for being with you. I would have been there myself, except the inauguration was 2 days ago. I thought it might be a little bit quick to make it the first stop, but we'll get there one day. We hope to get there. But I do appreciate, I heard the audience is fantastic, and many of my friends are in the audience, and I will be taking questions now from some very distinguished people. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for that very powerful speech. And I think you could hear the applause all the way from Davos to the White House. But next year it will be even better, because then you can get the applause here in Davos. So we wish you welcome to our village next year. We hope to see you.
Thank you very much.
So we also know, Mr. President, that you open up for interaction here. We have a great panel with some of the most distinguished business people in the world. Let me start with someone that you know really well, that I think is almost a neighbor of you in Florida. Mr. Steve Schwartzman, Chairman, CEO, and co-founder of Blackstone Group. So, Steve, floor is yours.
Well, Mr. President, I'm sure the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia will be really glad you gave this speech today. You've had the busiest 4 days that anybody can imagine, and congratulations for that. My question is about some of the things I've observed here at Davos. It's a terrific forum. I've met lots of people, as usual. I think I've been here 30 years. And a lot of the European business people have expressed enormous frustration with the regulatory regime in the EU, and they attribute slower growth rates here because of the numerous factors, but especially because of regulations. And you've taken a completely different approach in this area. And if you could explain the theory of what you're doing, how you're going to do it, and what you expect the outcome to be, I'd appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations, Steve. You're a friend of mine, but on a great career. You have had an amazing career, and it continues. I just want to congratulate you. Very inspirational to a lot of people. I want to talk about the EU, because you mentioned specifically that I've also had a lot of friends and leaders of countries. I've gotten to know them all my first term and a little bit during this period of 4 years, and know them well, like them a lot, but they're very frustrated because of the time everything seems to take to get approved, environmental impact statements for things that you shouldn't even have to do that, and many, many other ways that it takes. And I'm going to give you a quick little example. In the private life, my beautiful private life, before I had all these things happening, the world is a little different. I had a nice, simple life. You knew that. But when I had that simple life, I did projects. And I had a big project in Ireland and it had to get approval on something that would have made it even better. And I got the approval from Ireland in a period of a week. And it was a very, very, very efficient, good approval. And they informed me, though, the problem is you're going to have to get it from the EU, and we think that'll take 5 to 6 years. And I said, you have to be kidding. And this was before politics. And I said, wait a minute, it's not that important. I don't want to go 5 or 6 years, but it would have been a big investment. It would have been nice, and it would have been good for the project. And I sent the people to the EU to see if they could speed it up, and basically it was a 5 or 6 year wait just to get a simple approval that Ireland gave me in a period of literally not much more than a week. And I realized right then, that was the first time I really was involved with the EU, but I realized right then that's a problem, and I didn't even bother applying to do it. And or if I did, I pulled it very quickly. I have to be very accurate because I don't want to be criticized. He did apply, actually. No, I want to be very accurate. So I don't think I did, but if I did, I pulled it very quickly. It was just something you couldn't wait 5 years or 6 years to get an approval. So a lot of, in a very big business sense, a lot of people are claiming that's the problem. From the standpoint of America, the EU treats us very, very unfairly, very badly. They have a large tax that we know about, and a VAT tax, and it's a very substantial one. They don't take our, essentially don't take our farm products, and they don't take our cars, yet they send cars to us by the millions. They put tariffs on things that we want to do, like, for instance, I think they actually, in terms of, these are non-economic or non-monetary tariffs, and those are very bad, and they make it very difficult to bring products into Europe, and yet they expect to be selling, and they do sell their products in the United States. So we have, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars of deficits with the EU, and nobody's happy with it, and we're going to do something about it, but nobody's happy with it. So I think the EU has to speed up their process. Friends of mine that are in some of the nations within the EU, great people, they want to be able to compete better, and you can't compete when you can't go through the approval process fast. There's no reason why it can't go faster. So, you know, I'm trying to be constructive because I love Europe. I love the countries of Europe, but the process is a very cumbersome one. And they do treat the United States of America very, very unfairly with the VAT taxes and all of the other taxes they impose. One other, just to finish up, I got a call from the head of a major airline, one of the biggest airlines in the world, and he said, sir, could you help us? What? Landing in Europe is brutal. They charge us fees for everything, and it's so unfair. I said, how does it compare to China? He said, it's much worse. And the other thing, as you know, they took court cases with Apple, and they supposedly won a case that most people didn't think was much of a case. They won 15 or 16 billion from Apple. They won billions from Google. I think they're after Facebook for billions and billions. These are American companies, whether you like them or not. They're American companies, and they shouldn't be doing that. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, it's a form of taxation. So we have some very big complaints with the EU. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I go to one of your friends in the EU, Patrick Pouyanné. He's the chairman and CEO of Total Energies. I guess you have a question ready, Patrick, for the President.
Mr. President, as we understand, energy is at the top of your agenda, and it's an honor for me to represent the energy industry tonight. In this panel, Total Energies is indeed the fourth largest oil and gas and electricity company in the world. I will not ask you a question about the oil price. It's quite clear what you expect from us. I will go to gas more. And our company is the largest #1 exporter LNG from the US company. We are a strong contributor to, and we invest in a mammoth LNG projects in Texas, $20 billion. It's far from 200, but it's $20 billion. And we contribute with that to security of supply to Europe, as we export this LNG to Europe. Some experts fear that if there are too many projects developed in the US on LNG, this could have an inflationary impact on the US domestic gas price. And they recommend a pause on these projects. I would ask you the following question: what are your views about such a pause on investments on LNG in the US? What would happen if you would observe an increased domestic gas price because of these exports? And final question, which is important for Europe: would you agree to guarantee security of supply of US LNG to Europe?
Well, on the last part of your question, yes, I would. I would make sure that you get it. If we make a deal, we make a deal, you'll get it. Because a lot of people do have that problem. They make a deal and then it can't get supplied because of war-type problems and other problems. So we would absolutely do that. LNG is very interesting because when I took office for the first term, one of the first things I looked at was there were two very massive plants in Louisiana, a state that has been very good to me, won it by many, many points. And I felt strongly indebted to it, actually. And they said there are two plants that have been under environmental consideration for more than 10 years. And they were costing, as you say, you know how expensive those plants are, but they were costing like 12 billion and I think 14 or 15 billion, but they couldn't get their permits. They were in review for years, many, many years, like a decade or more. And I said, so ridiculous. I know so much about that because in the construction industry, I had to go through it too, but I got good at it after a while. But I saw the projects, and you're talking about a total investment of 25 to $30 billion, and it looked like it was going to end. They couldn't get their permits, and I got them done in less than a week. It was done, completed. In fact, when they called them to announce that it was done, the countries, largely countries, Japan was involved and another country and some very big investors, they couldn't believe it. They actually couldn't believe it. And I said, just do yourself one favor. Don't pay any consultants, because the only one that got it done was me. I got it done because it was the right thing to do for the U.S. and for the world, but the consultants had nothing to do with it. You know, the consultants go in and they say, give us millions of dollars because Trump did it. Nobody called me about it. I just heard it was a problem for years. And I got it done because it was the right thing to do for the U.S. and the right thing to do for beyond. It had to do with energy, very important. So I think it's very important. I think I disagree with one. I think the more that you do, the lower the price is going to go. And what I'd like to see is rapid approvals. We're going to give very rapid approvals in the United States, like with the AI plants, talking to many people want to build them. That's going to be a very big thing. We're going to build electric generating facilities. They are going to build. I'm going to get them the approval. Under emergency declaration, I can get the approvals done myself without having to go through years of waiting. And the big problem is we need double the energy we currently have in the United States. Can you imagine? For AI to really be as big as we want to have it, because it's a very competitive, it'll be very competitive with China and others. So I'm going to give emergency declarations so that they can start building them almost immediately. And I think it was largely my idea because nobody thought this was possible. It wasn't that they were not smart, because they're the smartest. But I told them that what I want you to do is build your electric generating plant right next to your plant as a separate building connected. And they said, wow, you're kidding. And I said, no, I'm not kidding. You don't have to hook into the grid, which is old and, could be taken out. If it's taken out, they wouldn't have any way to get any electricity. So we are going to allow them to go on a very rapid basis to build their plant, build the electric generating plant. They can fuel it with anything they want, and they may have coal as a backup, good, clean coal. If there were a problem with a pipe coming in, as an example, you're going with gas, oil or gas, and a pipe gets blown up or for some reason doesn't work, there are some companies in the U.S. that have coal sitting right by the plant so that if there's an emergency, they can go to that short-term basis and use our very clean coal. So that's something else that a lot of people didn't even know about, but nothing can destroy coal, not the weather, not a bomb, nothing. It might make it a little smaller, might make it a little different shape, but coal is very strong as a backup. It's a great backup to have that facility, and it wouldn't cost much more money. And we have more coal than anybody. We also have more oil and gas than anybody. So we're going to make it so that the plants will have their own electric generating facilities attached right to their plant. They don't have to worry about a utility. They don't have to worry about anything. And we're going to get very rapid approvals.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. President. We'll now go to another CEO that you know very well, Brian Monahan, the CEO and Chair of Bank of America.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, and congratulations, and obviously a eventful week for you and your family. If you remember 5 years ago, you came here and we walked among 150 CEOs from all over the world and engaged with them about your policies and your procedures. But this year you're not here, and yet this week was eventful from the orders that you mentioned earlier, literally a wave of orders coming out on immigration, on trade, and many other matters. And so, as a representative of the United States here, we got a lot of questions about what does all this mean and how would the president square this with his clear focus on growth, prosperity, market growth, stock market growth, a good bond market, and bringing down prices. So how do you think about the impact of all these orders and how fast they come out, and how you're going to balance them with that scorecard of being successful in both continuing GDP growth, bringing down inflation, and also having a good stock price appreciation for the American citizen?
Well, I think it's going to actually bring down inflation. It's going to bring up jobs. We're going to have a lot of jobs. We're going to have a lot of companies moving in. You know, Brian, we're at 21%. It was at 40%, and I got it down to 21%, the corporate tax. And it was actually, if you look at state and city, it was in many cases much higher than 40%. I got it down to 21%, and now we're going to bring it down from 21 to 15% if, there's a big if you make your product in the U.S. So we're going to have the lowest, just about the lowest rate. It'll be, the 21 is on the low side worldwide. The 15 is about as low as it gets. And by far the lowest of a large country, a large, you know, rich, powerful country, by far, not even a contest. So we're going to bring it down to 15% if you make your product in the USA. So that's going to create a tremendous buzz. We're also probably going back to the one-year deduction where we deduct, you know, we did that originally, and that was amazing what the impact that had, the one-year deduction, which built up over a period of time, and then it expires. But we're going to go back to that when we do the renewal of the Trump tax plan. We have to get Democrats to approve it, but, you know, if the Democrats didn't approve it, I don't know how they can survive with about a 45% tax increase, because that's what it would be. And so I think they're going to be. We've been working along with them pretty well. I think it's very hard for a political group to say, let's charge people 45% more. So I think we're in good shape. But we're actually doing a reduction for business and small businesses where you're going to bring it down to 15%, which is really something. And by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business, and I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
Mr. President, I'll say that your friend Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to sponsoring the World Cup when it comes, both this summer for the club and next year. So thank you for getting that for the United States.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll now go to Anna Butin. She's the executive chairman of Banco Santander, one of the big European banks, and also in the U.S. So,
Mr. President, congratulations on a historic victory. I believe you don't know me as well as my fellow panelists, so a few words. Santander is one of the largest banks in the world by number of customers, 170 million. That's more than my friend Brian or my friend Jamie have. And those,
They fix the regulation.
that's coming, that's coming.
That was cheeky.
We're a big investor in the United States. We have many million customers, 12,000 employees. We're one of the largest auto lenders. And we recently launched a fully digital bank called Open Bank. We strongly believe banks have a pivotal role in the economy, and we can accelerate growth and help many more customers. That's what we're doing in the United States. So, as Brian pointed out, we very much welcome your focus on deregulation and reducing bureaucracy. So my question is, what are your priorities in this regard, and how fast is this going to happen? Thank you very much.
I think it's going to, thank you and congratulations. I know very much about your bank, and you've done a fantastic job. Congratulations. We are going to move very quickly. We've moved very quickly. We've done things in the last 3 days that nobody thought were possible to do in years. And it's all taking effect. It's going to have a huge impact on the economy, a huge positive impact. Money was being wasted on crazy things. I mean, the Green New Deal was such a total disgrace, how that was perpetrated. And it was conceived of by people that were average students, less than average students, I might add, and never even took a course in energy or the environment. It was just a game. Remember, the world was going to end in 12 years? Remember that? Well, the 12 years has come and gone. It was going to end. It was going to all foam into earth. But, you know, the time has come. These people, and they really scared the Democrats large. I can't say the Republicans. The Republicans maybe could have fought harder to stop it, but it's been a tremendous waste of money. You know, during my 4 years, we had the cleanest air, we had the cleanest water, and yet we had the most productive economy in the history of our country. We had the most productive economy. Until COVID came, we had the most productive in the history of our country by far. And actually, you could look worldwide. We were beating everybody from China to everybody else. So, and we think we really now, with what we have learned and all of the other things that have taken place, we think we can even far surpass that. Actually, far surpass that. But we do, one thing we're going to be demanding is we're going to be demanding respect from other nations. Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. I don't know if it's good for them. As you probably know, I say you can always become a state. Then if you're a state, we won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you, et cetera, et cetera. But Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years, and it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need their oil and gas. We have more than anybody. So, you know, just as an example, with Mexico, we're dealing with Mexico, I think, very well. And we're just, you know, we just want to be treated fairly with other nations because there's hardly a nation in the world, and I blame this on us, and I blame it on politicians that, for some reason, mostly it's stupidity, but you could also say other reasons, but mostly stupidity. They've allowed other nations to take advantage of the U.S., and we can't allow that to happen anymore. You know, we have debt. It's a very small debt when you compare it to the value of the assets that we have, but we don't want to do that. We want to just have debt be obliterated, and we'll be able to do that fairly rapidly. And a lot of good things are going to happen. And honestly, good things are going to happen for the world, and good things are going to happen for the people that are dealing with us, allies and beyond allies. One thing very important, I really would like to be able to meet with President Putin soon and get that war ended. And that's not from the standpoint of economy or anything else. It's from the standpoint of millions of lives are being wasted. Beautiful young people are being shot in the battlefield. You know, the bullet, very flat land, as I said, and the bullet goes, there's no hiding, and a bullet, the only thing going to stop the bullet is a human body. And you have to see, I've seen pictures of what's taken place. It's a carnage, and we really have to stop that war. That war is horrible. And I'm not talking economy, I'm not talking economics, I'm not talking about natural resource. I'm just talking about there's so many young people being killed in this war, and that's not including the people that have been killed as the cities are being, knocked down building by building. So we really should get that stopped. Likewise, in the Middle East, I think we've made a lot of progress in the Middle East, and I think that's gonna come along pretty well.
Thank you, Mr. President. We know that the most consequential relationship in the world is between the US and China. US, 28% of the global economy, China close to 20. That's almost half of the global GDP. And we know that you called President Xi Jinping last Friday. We heard that you had a good discussion. How do you see the relationship between the US and China in the next 4 years under your leadership?
He called me, but I see it very good. I think that we're going to have a very good relationship. All we want is fairness. We just want a level playing field. We don't want to take advantage. We've been having massive deficits with China. Biden allowed it to get out of hand. He's $1.1 trillion deficit. It's ridiculous. And it's just an unfair relationship. And we have to make it just fair. We don't have to make it phenomenal. We have to make it a fair relationship. Right now, it's not a fair relationship. The deficit is massive, as it is with other countries, a lot of Asian countries, actually. But we have deficits that are very big, and we can't keep doing that, so we're not going to keep doing that. But I like President Xi very much. I've always liked him. We always had a very good relationship. It was very strained with COVID coming out of Wuhan. Obviously, that strained it. I'm sure it strained it with a lot of people, but that strained our relationship. But we always had a great relationship, I would say, and we look forward to doing very well with China and getting along with China. Hopefully, China can help us stop the war with, in particular, Russia, Ukraine. They have a great deal of power over that situation, and we'll work with them. And I mentioned that during our phone conversation with President Xi. And hopefully we could work together and get that stopped. We'd like to see denuclearization. In fact, with President Putin, prior to an election result, which was frankly ridiculous, we were talking about denuclearization of our two countries, and China would have come along. China has a much smaller, right now, nuclear armament than us, or field than us, but they're going to be catching it at some point over the next 4 or 5 years. And I will tell you that President Putin really liked the idea of cutting way back on nuclear. And I think the rest of the world, we would have gotten them to follow. And China would have come along too. China also liked it. Tremendous amounts of money are being spent on nuclear. And the destructive capability is something that we don't even want to talk about today because you don't want to hear it. It's too depressing. So we want to see if we can denuclearize, and I think that's very possible. And I can tell you that President Putin wanted to do it. He and I wanted to do it. We had a good conversation with China. They would have been involved, and that would have been an unbelievable thing for the planet.
Mr. President, when you're back here in Davos next year, will there be then a peace agreement with Ukraine and Russia by then?
Well, you're going to have to ask Russia. Ukraine is ready to make a deal. Just so you understand, this is a war that should have never started. If I were president, it would never have started. This is a war that should have never, ever been started. And it wasn't started during there was never even talk about it. I knew that it was the apple of President Putin's eye, but I also knew that there was no way he was going in, and he wasn't going to go in. And then when I was out, bad things happened, bad things were said, a lot of stupidity all around, and you end up with what you have. Now you have all these bombed out cities that look like demolition sites with many people killed. I think the thing that you'll see about Ukraine is that far more people have died than is being reported. And I've seen that. But far, far more people have died. When you look at a city that's become a demolition site where big buildings have been collapsed by missiles hitting them and everything else, and they say one person was slightly injured. No. Many people were killed. Those are big buildings. I was surprised at how that was my business. These are buildings that go 2 and 3 blocks long. They're 20 stories high. They're big, powerful buildings, and they were knocked down, and there were a lot of people in those buildings. It announced that 2 people were injured. That's not true. So I think you're going to find that there were many more people killed in Ukraine in the Ukraine war than anybody has any idea. But if you look now, so many of the people being killed are soldiers just facing each other with guns, rifles, and drones, the new form of warfare, drones. And it's a very sad thing to see. And when you see pictures of the fields that I see, nobody wants to see it. You'll never be the same.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, on behalf of all the 3,000 participants here in Davos. We really underline that joining us the 3rd day in your presidency, live taking questions here, is so appreciated, and we are already ready for receiving you next year in person. So thank you very much, and all the best from Davos.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, the market did not like that.
To everyone in beautiful Davos, this has been a truly historic week in the United States. 3 days ago, I took the oath of office, and we began the golden age of America. The recent presidential election was won by millions of votes, and all 7, every one of them, all 7 swing states. It was a massive mandate from the American people like hasn't been seen in many years. And some of the political pundits, even some of my so-called enemies, said it was the most consequential election victory in 129 years. That's quite nice. What the world has witnessed in the past 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense. Our country will soon be stronger, wealthier, and more united than ever before, and the entire planet will be more peaceful and prosperous as a result of this incredible momentum and what we're doing and going to do. My administration is acting with unprecedented speed to fix the disasters we've inherited from a totally inept group of people and to solve every single crisis facing our country. This begins with confronting the economic chaos caused by the failed policies of the last administration. Over the past 4 years, our government racked up $8 trillion in wasteful deficit spending and inflicted nation-wrecking energy restrictions, crippling regulations, and hidden taxes like never before. The result is the worst inflation crisis in modern history and sky-high interest rates for our citizens and even throughout the world. Food prices and the price of almost every other thing known to mankind went through the roof. President Biden totally lost control of what was going on in our country, but in particular with our high inflation economy and at our border. Because of these ruinous policies, total government spending this year is $1.5 trillion higher than was projected to occur when I left office just 4 years ago. Likewise, the cost of servicing the debt is more than 230% higher than was projected in 2020. The inflation rate we are inheriting remains 50% higher than the historic target. It was the highest inflation probably in the history of our country. That's why from the moment I took office, I've taken rapid action to reverse each and every one of these radical left policies that created this calamity, in particular with immigration, crime, and inflation. On day one, I signed an executive order directing every member of my cabinet to marshal all powers at their disposal to defeat inflation and reduce the cost of daily life. I imposed a federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, a foreign aid freeze, and I created the new Department of Government Efficiency. I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New Deal. I call it the Green New Scam. Withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord and ended the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate. We're going to let people buy the car they want to buy. I declared a national energy emergency, and it's so important, national energy emergency to unlock the liquid gold under our feet and pave the way for rapid approvals of new energy infrastructure. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it. Not only will this reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services, it will make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. My administration has also begun the largest deregulation campaign in history, far exceeding even the record-setting efforts of my
Finally
last
mentioned
term.
crypto.
In total, the Biden administration imposed $50,000 in additional regulatory costs on the average American household over the last 4 years. I have promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every new regulation, which will soon put many thousands of dollars back in the pockets of American families. To further unleash our economy, our majorities in the House and Senate, which we also took along with the presidency, are going to pass the largest tax cut in American history, including massive tax cuts for workers and family, and big tax cuts for domestic producers and manufacturers. And we're working with the Democrats on getting an extension of the original Trump tax cuts, as you probably know, by just reading any paper. My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt. Under the Trump administration, there will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA. Already Americans' economic, you can see this, I think, maybe even in your wonderful, wonderful room that you're all gathered together, so many of my friends, but Americans, the economic confidence is soaring like we haven't seen in many, many decades, maybe not at all. Upon my election, it was just announced that small business optimism skyrocketed by 41 points in a single month. That's the highest ever. There's never been anything like that. SoftBank has announced between a $100 and $200 billion investment in the U.S. economy because of the election result. And just 2 days ago, Oracle, SoftBank, and OpenAI announced a $500 billion investment in AI infrastructure. Other companies likewise have announced billions and billions and billions, adding up to trillions of investment in America, in the United States. And it's also reported today in the papers that Saudi Arabia will be investing at least $600 billion in America, but I'll be asking the Crown Prince, who's a fantastic guy, to round it out to around $1 trillion. I think they'll do that because we've been very good to them. And I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil. You got to bring it down, which frankly, I'm surprised they didn't do before the election. That didn't show a lot of love by them not doing it. I was a little surprised by that. If the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war would end immediately. Right now, the price is high enough that that war will continue. You got to bring down the oil price. You got to end that war. They should have done it long ago. They're very responsible, actually, to a certain extent, for what's taking place. Millions of lives are being lost. With oil prices going down, I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately, and likewise, they should be dropping all over the world. Interest rates should follow us. All over, the progress that you're seeing is happening because of our historic victory in a recent presidential election, one that has become quite well known throughout the world. I think a lot of things are happening to a lot of countries. They say that there's light shining all over the world since the election, and even countries that we aren't particularly friendly with are happy because they understand what there is a future and how great the future will be. Under our leadership, America is back and open for business. And this week, I'm also taking swift action to stop the invasion at our southern border. They allowed people to come in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It was ridiculous. I decided and declared to do and very, very importantly, a national emergency on our border immediately halted all entry of illegal border crossers, of which there were many, and began promptly returning the illegal trespassers back to the place from which they came. That action, as you've probably seen, has already started very strongly. I've deployed active duty.
Yeah, man, I think this guy's reading the same script from the teleprompter.
In repelling the invasion. It was really an invasion. We will
Because
not
it's
allow
word
our
for
territory
word
to be violated after
what he said in the intro.
years. The United States is strong and sovereign and a beautiful nation once again. It's a strong, sovereign nation. In addition, I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly. With another historic executive order this week, I also ended the weaponization of law enforcement against the American people and, frankly, against politicians, and restored the fair, equal, and impartial rule of law. My administration has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense, and these are policies that were absolute nonsense throughout the government and the private sector. With the recent yet somewhat unexpected great Supreme Court decision just made, America will once again become a merit-based country. You have to hear that word, merit-based country. And I've made it
Word for word, he says exactly the same that he said in the beginning. He's reading the same script.
Genders, male and female.
All right, guys.
We will have no men participating in women's sports.
I think that's it, right? I don't think that he will say anything. Listen, guys, this, first and foremost, we gotta address why he's not talking about crypto. Okay, yes, he mentions that US will be the crypto metropole of the world, crypto and AI metropole. But why doesn't he mention crypto? This is all deliberate. This is to spook the market, to cause uncertainty. And why does he want to do it? It's like I've explained before. By the way, let me know if the sound is good. It's like I explained before. It's because a lot of these big dogs, his friends, BlackRock and whatnot, are accumulating Bitcoin a lot, heavily. Like they are buying it in the hundreds of millions. His company, Liberty Finance, that you probably heard of, they are scooping up Bitcoin and Ethereum in the hundreds of millions. So they cannot do that without the price skyrocketing. So it means that if they want to buy a certain amount of Bitcoin, they want to buy it for, let's say, 105,000 as it is right now. If they push in 100 million, like maybe they will get those first Bitcoins at 105, 106, 107, 108,000, but the price will skyrocket and they will buy the last ones at maybe 120. So this is what they do. They suppress the price and then they push the price. They suppress the price and then they push the price. And this is all your TikTok followers. I hear from my TikTok, I've been talking a lot about market manipulation, and if you hold a project like XRP, for example, most of you love XRP, then hold it. Stop trying to time the bottom and the top. And stop worrying for FUD along the way. Because if we look at XRP, for example, let's look at it from on a daily chart. Boom, here. Last bull run, all right? That was not a lot of data. Oh, but we can look at it like this too. So, I know, you know what? Let me bring a chart with more data. All right, so this is last bull run. Look what happened. Market pushes up 242%. And then what happened? Boom. What is that? 77%. Up 206%. down to here, 54%. Even here at the blow off top, what happens? We go, just look at this one, this last push here. Up 81%. Down, if you look at the white candle, 25%. So what I'm trying to show you guys, this is crypto. This is how crypto works, and it's always going to be volatile. So if you believe in a project, you gotta hold it. You gotta hold it until you start to see the signs of the bull market turning into bear market. There are different signs to see. You see it on sentiment. You see how the news push, like now, for example. So now news is pushing Bitcoin, but in the same time, the price is going down. You see BlackRock, Jamie, what's his name? Larry Fink. Larry Fink talking about it. He was super bullish on a press conference in Davos here at the World Economic Forum. Spoke about Bitcoin being super bullish, and yeah, we saw a rally. We saw market move. We saw this here, but no, sorry, this here. Put it on the hourly, then we see things better. So mega push, mega dump, mega push again. Massive liquidations. And this was due to him talking and some expectations also on the speech from Donald Trump now that, yeah, basically was nothing special. He confirmed at least that they want to make the United States the crypto metropole. That is important. He has said it now, even at the World Economic Forum. So he has said it to the world now. So he has a pressure on him to do it. 1 second, guys. 1 second. My brother just came in, so that was it. Anyways, back to it. Yeah, man. So that's the situation, and now tomorrow we got something very important. We need to talk about it. We need to address it. So let's get back to the subject because I sidetracked a little bit. So he does these manipulations intentionally. Not only him. This is how it is. This is how the financial market is. Doesn't matter if it's crypto, Bitcoin, if it's forex, if it's stocks, whatever it is. This is how it works. And if they want to buy, they suppress the price through mass media, mainstream media. If they want to sell, opposite. They will create a hype. They will create a hype. And you will see that hype created at the top of the bull run. When you see a massive hype, when you see everybody's talking about it, and everybody thinks that Bitcoin is going to go to 1 million and this and that, that is when you can expect a crash. That is when you start to, you guys heard the term DCA, dollar cost average. That is when you dollar cost average out. You start to slowly take out profits. You see a push, take out profit. Market dips. If it pushes again, okay, cool, take out profits. But don't be greedy and trying to hold everything to maximize profits, because what you will do then is you will maximize your loss. And I can almost guarantee that. Okay, with that said, tomorrow, what's going on? Tomorrow we have, where is tomorrow? Here. Tomorrow we got the Japanese, why can't I find it? Oh, here it is. So we got the Bank of Japan press conference, here it is. And that is tomorrow. They will decide on the Japanese interest rates. And this is super important. Why is this so important for crypto and for the whole world? Because let me first start by showing you what happened last time they did it. I don't even need to see the date. I can find that chart because it's like you see it. And I remember that so vividly because I was trading it live and I got wrecked. I was not ready for that. Here, this is what happened. So here, Japan announces that they will increase interest rates. Boom, market totally crashes. This is just crypto. Bitcoin went down, about 30%. This is just crypto. The American stock markets and stock markets all over the world, not all of them, but a lot of them, went down a lot. Forex, this, commodities, that, everything. Why does this happen? I will explain it. And I highly recommend you to listen carefully to what I'm saying right now and take notes, because this is super important. This is something that affects the economy. This is those things that goes on in the background that you don't know. When you don't know what market crashes happen or sudden pumps happen in the market. Some of you guys already know it, but for y'all that don't know it, I'm gonna explain it. So, Japan has, sorry, I actually forgot to say it. The press conference is, oh shit, there's no time. Tentative. It means like it's basically all over the day. But then in the same time, can somebody Google what time frame Japan is on? So maybe we can see like when their banks close, and then we will know approximately in what time window. The important thing you gotta know is this is during the night. So you'll probably wake up to the results of this if you don't stay up all night. All right. Now, so this will be this night. All right. So what is this? This is called the Japanese carry trade. The Japanese carry trade works like this. Japan has mega boosted their economy by keeping their interest rates basically at zero. Maybe even negative, but at least at a zero. And why does this boost economy? Because this makes money cheap for them or for investors. And so investors can borrow Japanese yen very cheap and invest into the economy. But what this has caused is that it has made American investors and also Asian investors borrow money from the Japanese bank because it's so cheap, and use it to invest into risk assets like crypto, for example, but also into the American stock market and whatever. And we're talking about trillions of dollars, or maybe not trillions, billions of dollars, sorry. Sometimes I think in the Swedish terms, trillions. So that is trillions of dollars flowing into the financial markets. Now, if the Bank of Japan increases their interest rate, what happens? Money becomes more expensive, right? And if money becomes more expensive, then people are not as willing to risk that money. And that is why it's so important, because if they increase interest rates, suddenly billions of dollars are being sucked out of the markets, and from people that don't want to invest it anymore because it's not as cheap for them anymore, and they're afraid of interest rates going even higher. So that is why this is so important. If they increase, it's expected that they will increase interest rate. You can see it here. It's good for currency, exactly. So it's expected that they will increase it with 25 basis points to 50, 0.5%. And if they don't do it, I think we will see a mega rally. If they don't do it, if it stays the same as it is right now, 0.25%, then we will see a mega rally in the markets, especially in the crypto markets, but all markets. Sorry, but if they do what they say they're gonna do, market will dip. Here's the thing. Here's the kicker with this. So I showed you guys that last time this happened, we saw a mega dip, and we saw that it was about 30%, right? This time, I don't believe that this will happen. That we will have a mega dip like that. 30%, let's say we will be where we are right now. So 30% will send us down to, damn, a lot. 74K. Are you guys ready to see a Bitcoin at 74K? Nah. We don't want that, actually. Even though I say dips are gifts, that is too much of a dip. Okay, that will be a mega load up opportunity, but yeah. Why want to dip so much this time as it did last time? If it does so, first and foremost, last time it took everybody off guard. Nobody was ready for that. Nobody was expecting something like that to happen, and nobody knew. A lot of people didn't know what the Japanese carry trade was. So people was, yeah, okay, Japan is going to increase interest rates. Well, who the heck cares? But this time, people are scarred. They are traumatized from last time, and people are very afraid of this happening now again. So people know and people remember what happened a couple of months ago, and this is why we have seen the market retrace today. This is what we see in the market, the price of Bitcoin being suppressed. It's because of this, the expectations for this announcement tomorrow. So we will see what happens. We will see what happens. But yeah, man, anybody planning to stay up and watch the decision? Me at least not. And guys, by the way, I gotta repeat myself, but if you're getting some type of value from here, please like the channel, subscribe also if you don't already do. We need to boost our streams and videos to the YouTube algorithm so that we can get more viewers here, so we can do more better content here. And that is that. With that said, let's look at some TA. Let's look at some technical analysis on the markets. What do we have for opportunities? So first and foremost, what has happened? We had a major retrace today on Bitcoin to this trend line that I've marked out here. And then market pushed up on some expectations. And I think that those expectations came from, I will see if I can find that one here somewhere. I posted it in Telegram, in the Telegram community, in announcement channel. Is this one here. Let me show you guys. So this here. And that is Senator Cynthia Loomis. She's super pro Bitcoin, and she said big things are coming. Like that is 3 hours ago now. But everybody was expecting that was because Donald Trump was going to talk and he was going to announce a big strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now, that is not everything that we have today. We have also this here. President Trump and President Bukele to hold call today at 3:30 Eastern time. That is 9:30 Central European time. 9:30 Central European time. I'm not going to stream that. That is too late. I'm a grandpa. I go to sleep like 10 o'clock. So, but I will watch it because for you guys that don't know, President Bukele is the president of El Salvador, the only country in the world that uses Bitcoin as a legal tender. So they adopted Bitcoin, and I just like, I would be shocked if they're not going to talk about Bitcoin. Like they have to do it because this is like what Bukele is famous for, and that is that. So I think he will basically advise Trump in the plans of a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but we will see. We'll see. So this should be super bullish. 3:30 Eastern, so 9:30 Central European time, and yes, everybody in Sweden, y'all guys are on Central European time. Spain also. Most of Europe is. So because of that, we will do some TA, but we will not go too hard on the TA. Why? Because right now we got two strong fundamentals going on. So we just got to look for the important levels. The important levels to watch out for. Number one, of course, is the 100K support. We don't want that one breached. You see that one is very respected as resistance. Boom. And yeah, even here before it broke out, and also as support. So the 100K, like that's like the super important target. But before 100K, you see this trend that is acting as support. We don't want this one to get breached. And honestly, I believe this. I believe that if the 100K if this support here get breached, that you see this white line, this trend line, then I believe that market is going to take out 100K as well and go lower and grab some of this liquidity down here. So next level after that, what will be 93K, this support level that you got here. Super important. On top of this, we have, and by the way, if you got questions, type it in the chat. I will look at the questions ASAP. So this is a Q&A session as well. So, boom. All right, this is what I wanted to do. On top of this, what do we have? We have bearish divergence. I don't like this, but we have it. Bearish divergence are not super accurate, but they hit very often. And what is a bearish divergence? Bearish divergence means that the RSI is showing an opposite trend of the real chart, of the price chart of Bitcoin in this case here. So Bitcoin is trending up on the chart and the RSI is trending down. But it's not oversold or overbought. So that is also very important. If the RSI is outside of the 70%, it's above the 70%, it's overbought. And there will be a lot of sell pressure on it. If it's below 30%, so here, then it's oversold and you will see a lot of buy pressure coming in. If we look at it on the smaller charts, we have the opposite. We have a bullish divergence and that one hit. That's this thing that you saw here. That one hit hard. So the question comes now to how this will play out. I think that there's a big chance that we will see market dip a little bit until that press conference that call with President Bukele. And if market dips, like I said, we want to see this trend hold. So it will put us at about 102.6K for one Bitcoin. And why I'm talking only about Bitcoin right now is because that, of course, will affect all altcoins. But we will look at XRP, AVAX. I know somebody wanted to see AVAX, and we'll look at the DOT trade as well. But first, Bitcoin. Yeah, so that's that. So basically, 102.6K is my important support. If that one doesn't hold, we might very well see market dip down much lower. But I cannot see that happening with all the positivity that is going on right now. And we got to address also the fact that actually Trump spoke about crypto. Trump said that he is going to make United States of America the crypto capital, the AI capital. So with that said, we are waiting for how these things are going to play out. And we are going to look at Solana before we look at XRP. When is the announcement from work? Very possible, man. Ade, very possible. Sold 80%, man. Okay, you're bearish. Yeah, he's definitely saving that information, Ivar. He is definitely doing so. Like I said, they're trying to suppress the market because they need to buy everything they want to buy. They need to scoop up as much as possible before this market launches off. But I will tell you this market will explode. So for all y'all holding XRPs or Bitcoins or Avalanches or DOT or whatever it is, like even if market dips a little bit now, don't get spooked out. Hold it. Market, trust me, this market will fly. It will go crazy, it will go bananas. If it's today, tomorrow, next month, it will do so. So you're holding for long term. Yeah, man, the boomer altcoins. Listen, so here's the thing, Koyar. When Bitcoin dips like 10%, altcoins dip like the double, 20% or even more sometimes. So yeah, they will take a hit, most definitely. You got to be ready for that. And these things will happen every now and then in these markets. Something that is interesting, to be honest, I saw it right now, but I just want to investigate this quickly. And that is on Solana. Price is being squeezed. And it's being squeezed in a bullish way. You want to look for all these signs. It's being squeezed in a very bullish way. Pop out. This thing is about 75% accurate, so we will see if it holds this time. Yeah, I agree with you. Like 10, 15, even up to 20%, I can easily see that happen. I can easily see that happen, and yeah, man. All right, back to this here. I'm a little bit defocused today. Sorry for that. Back to this here. All right, so Solana, for me, first and foremost, Solana has been super strong the last days. Why has it been so strong? Is because of course, the Trump token and the Melanie token. They were minted on the Solana blockchain, and when a token goes viral, goes bananas on a certain blockchain, that token of that blockchain will also fly. So that is what happened with Solana. Same thing with the Phantom token for the Phantom wallet. So these things has been flying. They have been super bullish, even though Solana experienced a lot of problems. They had, what is it called? Contagious, I don't know what. Anyway, too much traffic on their blockchain, on the network. So basically, a lot of trades, a lot of transactions, a lot of swaps got holded, and took hours. Sometimes I heard for some days before they went through, because the network was so overloaded. But so it has been bullish, more bullish than most tokens. Important thing is that I see right now when I'm looking at it is that it has found support. Wait, let me zoom in a little bit because I know you guys cannot see as well as I see here. We have an order block here. Boom. It has found support on that order block, but not only that, even with this reversal, with this bearish reversal candle, it's still respecting this order block, but it's also respecting the 38.2 Fibonacci, which is very important. All right. So, and it respected this trend, of course. So I think that Solana is on the verge of a new breakout. Okay. I think we are going to see Solana break out hard very soon again. People are very bullish on it, and also it appears that a lot of these people, these top level people that are accumulating Bitcoin and Ethereum, are also accumulating Solana. And what are they accumulating more? XRP. So let's look at XRP. XRP, on the other hand, yeah, it came back and retested. So first and foremost, just to backtrack, we have this resistance here. We have this channel. This is a very bullish channel. When you see a channel that goes down, it's very bullish. I explained this before. You have all the stop losses here, and they are triggers. They are fuel for the market to push upwards. Market broke above, came back in, broke above, and is now respecting this channel as support. That is bullish. That is good. But also what it did is, when we pull this Fibonacci, as you can see here, from this bottom, so from the swing bottom to this top, market dipped into the sweet spot. The sweet spot is very important. If you don't know what it is, get into our community, get into the mini app and watch the Fibonacci videos. I explain everything there. And even though, like, watch these videos, they are good, trust me. Or if you're now on YouTube, you can watch them on the Trading Academy playlist. I have it there. So this is the sweet spot. This is a spot the market loves to retrace to and respects very well. You can see it here. You see how well it respects it, all right? So this is like magic almost sometimes. We call it the numbers of God, the God's fingerprints. Anyways, market pushed above, out from the sweet spot, came back and retested it. That for me is a bullish sign. I see that retest as market getting ready to launch off. And I think the launch off is going to come later tonight or later this evening when Trump and Bukele is having that call. I don't know if they're going to live stream that call or what they're going to do, but if possible, I will listen to it. So that is that. So XRP bullish. And same thing here, I got to say, because I get these questions all the time. Is it a good time to buy XRP now? For long term, yes. For long term, it is a super good time to buy it and you hold it. And when it dips, you don't complain. You buy more if you can. And when it flies, you are happy and grateful. And you cash out some of the profits. Try to secure your initial investments. Because we never know. World War III can come. A new pandemic can come. Whatever can come. So nothing is guaranteed. I believe that the market is going to skyrocket like any day now, any minute now. But we don't know what's going to happen in the world. Black swan events is happening on a regular basis now. So you want to secure your initial investment, all right? And you do that by, you don't need to do it in one step, like boom, market flies up and you boom, you cash out everything directly. No, so just take out profits, take out profits, take out profits, take out profits. Same like you do on a dip. On a dip, you add positions, you add positions, you add position, you buy more. So you get a lower average entry. I don't know if the crypto market is going to drop tomorrow. We'll see. It might drop tonight. We'll see. So that is XRP. So I'm bullish on XRP. We are still in this trade. We've just been chopping around. We didn't even take TP1. We've just been chopping around. And right now we are slightly in drawdown. Now, next one is AVAX. And by the way, guys, write in the chat if there's any special token you want me to look at. Next one is AVAX. Super choppy. Look at this here. Super, super choppy. I want market to come down here. I don't think it's going to do it, actually. But I would love to see market come down to this area to enter for a leverage trade. This here is the word that you hear me say all the time. Accumulation, liquidation, a little bit distribution, accumulation, and all this here is just accumulation. This is like liquidations, like here, massive liquidations of longs. Then here, massive liquidation of shorts. This is how the market does. This is how they accumulate all their orders. You gotta understand these market dynamics and why they happen for you to be able to predict what's going to happen. SUI, yes, definitely. We can check SUI directly after. When it comes to AVAX, I would not buy it right now. Why is that? Because, to be honest, like from all these tokens I'm looking at, if we look at XRP, if we look at Solana and all of these, SUI looks the most bearish right now. SUI is one of my favorite projects. This bull run is a super strong layer 1 project that is deeply into gaming, but the price action right now is not very strong. It doesn't induce any confidence. Oh man. Maybe. If we break out, we'll see. Because this price action here is just massive accumulation. And of course, before distribution, which is when price rockets, so before a good distribution, you need to see accumulation and then you need to see manipulation. So you see accumulation and you see this kind of manipulative moves. And in this case here, what would it be? A nice little wick out, schmuck, and then price rockets. So we'll see what happens with AVAX. Not super bullish on it right now. Anyways. SUI. Let's get to it. And remind me about ADA, because ADA is also presenting very nice opportunities. Okay, ADA is, SUI is in this channel, and this channel is unfortunately not bullish. This is bearish. We got a lot of liquidity left behind here, like I explained before, but the opposite, stop losses. It doesn't mean that SUI will go now and sweep all this liquidity, but it means that the probability is there that it can do it. So you got to keep that at the back of your head and be aware of it. Double bottom, yeah. So the good thing with this bearish channel is that we have already had some sweeps. One sweep, another sweep, and then here also a little sweep. So, and these sweeps are good. So it means that a lot of this liquidity is already soaked up or taken, but not all of it. So we will see. And another thing is, as you can see, market is like slightly below this channel. I don't know if I drew it correctly. Nah, man, this is right. All right, so this is respecting the channel. It's respecting the support. So for me, SUI right now, I don't touch it right now. For y'all guys that have been following me for a while, y'all know I'm super bullish on SUI. I called it out at $0.6. So it's been one of my strongest bets this bull run. But right now, I don't know if it's the right time to buy it. But then, as we know, SUI can explode at any time. Just run. When it comes to the fundamentals, the project is super strong, and its total value locked on DeFi Llama is just exploding. I will see if I can get that one. 1 second. DeFi Llama. Do you guys know what total value locked is? Can quickly explain. That is how much value is locked inside of SUI or any other layer 1, any other project, and that is important. That makes the project very strong. Here's your Cardano, for example, and you see how the total value locked for Cardano is increasing a lot. But we want to see SUI. Let's see. Boom. Wait, what was that? Okay, I got on sure now. Yeah, this is SUI here. Perfect. Cool. So you look at the total value locked. It's skyrocketing. It's moving up a lot, and this is important. This makes SUI very, very strong. Sorry, 1 second. I just gotta close one trade here. Boom. All right. I took a long on Bitcoin, but I closed it basically at break even. She didn't play out as I wanted to. So, all right, cool. So these kind of things that you need to watch and look at, because this gives you an indication of what's to come. For example, if we look at Solana, so you see total value locked very strong, all right, on SUI. Let's look at Solana. Boom. What do you see? It's exploding. This is super important. This is also why Solana is skyrocketing. So SUI is strong. And if you hold SUI, keep holding it. Whatever you do, don't sell it. Because I personally believe we're going to see a SUI at the end of 2025, this bull run. Like for me, it's minimum $20-25. Minimum for SUI. And that means from where it's right now, it's what? 5x. Yeah, minimum. I think we can hit $40-50. I think SUI will be a very good challenger of Solana. Explain it. Listen, Info Piquete, I can do that, but here's the thing. I have very, very good videos, so you can start studying it right now. And then, and I will recommend you to study it before I even talk about it, so you better understand it. And then we can do a Q&A on it, talking about liquidity here. I have done very in-depth liquidity videos, and you have them here on the playlist, on the Trading Academy playlist here on the YouTube channel that you're on right now. You also have them in our Telegram mini app. So that makes you earn tokens, earn world tokens while you watch the video. So you want to do that. And I have like basic liquidity video, advanced, and I have mastery liquidity video, because there was a period in time where I totally dove into liquidity in the markets and how liquidity in the markets work, because I understood that it's a key component that I need to understand to predict where the market is going. Because if you know where the liquidity in the market is, then you know where the market is going to go. Ade, are you talking about Sui? Thank you, Ade. It's circling around rumors that might increase it double up. Have you seen it? No, I've not seen those rumors, man. Much appreciated, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, so that's that. SUI, XRP, AVAX, Cardano. No, we didn't talk about Cardano. Let's get into it. All right, so this is why I'm bullish on Cardano right now. I'm not why I'm bullish. I'm super bullish, and I've been so for a long time. Cardano is maybe my second biggest holding after AVAX, but I'm bullish on it right now because look, it's respecting this support beautifully, and in the same time, I don't know what time frame I did this, but I think it's on a daily. Yeah, on a daily. We have a very nice order block here. We have a very nice order block, confluent perfectly with the support line. And I think that this price action here is very bullish. We are now printing a daily reversal candle as it seems. If nothing happens, drastically happens today, we had a reversal candle here as well. Market is accumulating sideways down, also bullish. And it just broke above the support. So I think that we have a buy opportunity on Cardano right now. Okay, I don't say that it will go to the moon from here, but I think that it will make its way up. And if it dips a little bit from here, from the $1, let's say it goes to $0.9, even 0.8, and you bought it here, don't panic, sell it. Quite the opposite. Like for me, if this thing dips to this order block here, boom, I'm buying more. This is just an even better buying opportunity. Oh, the interest rate. Yeah, man. This is that's what I spoke on before. So you're talking about the Japanese interest rates. It will double. I don't say it will double. It's expected to double. 0.25 and it's forecasted 0.5 tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But guys, I don't see any more questions. I see people getting off the stream. We've been live for 1 hour and 40 minutes. That's a long time. Starting to get very hungry. I think that's it for today. I'll see you guys in the chat. By the way, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to join our Telegram community, Prosperous World, the world's greatest community. That's what we're making of it. We're making a community where everybody can prosper, and it's all tied together with our native crypto token world that is being launched very, very soon on BitUnix. So guys, with that said, and by the way, if you want to trade crypto, do so on BitUnix. Use our link in the description box below. You have up to $5,500 in sign-up bonuses when you do so. Okay? With that said, I'm signing out and I'm saying peace.